Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to part two of Let's Talk About It Stuff. Y'all know we had some technical issues, but you know what? I think they tried to shut your girl down, but we have I'm gonna bring him up real quick. Mr. Steven Shook, he's gonna be running for District 26, Congressional District 26. We're gonna get him up here where he can do his last 2 minute stunt before he goes and do his other thing. So y'all welcome to the stage, Mr. Shucks.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? I'm glad to have been here on your show. Get that out there for everyone, but I'm very happy to have been on your show, and I look forward to representing the people of District 26 in the future. So,
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to having you back on here where they can get to know you a little bit more personally and maybe ask some questions. And thank you once again for coming on here. And I have no idea what I did. It might be an error that I did, but we'll bring you back on here where you'll have the right amount of time to go and say what you got to say.
sounds good. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a good night.
Yes.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk About It Staff. Of course, the crew is on here. We have Mr. Hold on, I'm still working on some things right here. Y'all don't judge me. I got one arm. It's hard. Okay, I think I got it now. All right. So we have today our co-host, Mr. Del Frey. Thank you for being on here, Del.
Yeah, it's good to be here. And we also have a candidate as well, Rodney. How you doing?
How y'all
Yeah.
doing? How's it going?
So, out of curiosity, just remind me real quick, because I know that Stephanie and we're in Denton County. Rodney, I believe you're in Tarrant County. Is that right?
We are in Tarrant County. That would be correct. My
All
area
right.
is White Settlement, Lake Worth, Saginaw, River Oaks, and Azle. Those are the areas that I'm most concentrated in, and we have a portion of North Side, North Fort Worth. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
So,
Well, you are. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
oh no,
Dale.
no,
Go ahead.
I was actually passing it back to you, Stephanie.
Well, Rodney, you're no stranger to Let's Talk About It staff, and we want to make sure that you had a platform to speak up. And looks like you won't have any type of technical issues. Everything went fine. I have no idea what I clicked on. I've been
Yeah.
working behind the scene trying to make it work. But we want to thank you for coming on here,
Thank
and
you.
I'm gonna give you the floor.
So the reason why I wanted to come on, and I'm so grateful, those of you who follow me. That's the best word. Those of you who follow me, you saw me give a challenge where I was saying to you, those who live in the areas that I just mentioned: White Settlement, River Oaks, Lake Worth, Saginaw, Azle, and a portion of North Side, Fourth Worth. I said to you, I wanted to have a town hall so that we can talk. And if you're looking at this, and I know probably the majority are probably Democrats on here, and that's great. I appreciate your viewing. But I'm speaking to everyone. I'm speaking to clergy. I'm speaking to teachers. I'm speaking to Republicans, Libertarians, Democrats. If you got blood running through your vein, I'm speaking to you. Here's why I'm doing this, because I've gotten to the point where it's become sickening to see the toxic environment that's been created in this political realm. What we're doing is out shouting each other. What we're doing is coming up with talking points without really listening to what the other person is saying. So I want to have a town hall, and we decided to do it in White Settlement. Now, I want everybody who's in the precinct 4 to come out. But here's the deal. I don't have an agenda. The reason why I don't have an agenda, because I want you coming in that building. I want you to come in that room with whatever your issues is. or excuse me, I'm speaking bad English, but whatever your issues are, and I want to address those. How does the justice of the peace, how can we address that issue? Guys, it's time out for us spinning this stuff. You ask a question, I go to Dallas and back, and you still don't get your question answered. No, I'm gonna be very direct with you. What I said on a TikTok that's going to be coming out, and if you watch, look for my name. What I said is that the one thing I learned from Charlie Kirk was simply this: he was not afraid to go talk to people. Now, let me make it perfectly clear: I did not agree with Charlie Kirk, but at the same token, I did not agree with the method in which they killed him. In other words, I don't think he should have died for what he believed in. Look, if your opinion, if your principle is that intact, put it to ground. Let's see. Let's prove it. As I said, we don't do this mess with a gun. We do it with a vote. So I'm calling all of you out. Come and see me. Come and let's talk. The one thing I have, let's say this. Don't We're not going to get into a shouting match. I'm going to actively listen to you. I want you to actively listen to me. And when we leave the room, whether we agree on everything or not, we walk out being persons who are citizens of this Tarrant County community. That's what this thing is about. I'm running for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, and I'm clearly aware that there are people who agree with me and there are people who don't agree with me. Well, if you think there are some things that we need to talk about, come on out. I'm going to bring other candidates with me. But again, we're not going to do the shouting match stuff. We're not doing that. We're going to leave the guns at home. We're going to talk. And because we talk, that's what we're going to do. So if you're that emboldened about your position, I don't care if you're a mega. If you're a MAGA, come on out. But here's the key. I will kick you out of there if you come disruptive. You will get the opportunity to speak, and I will actively listen to you. But I won't do foolishness. I don't have to, and I don't want to. So that's my 2 minute spiel, right quick. Y'all have any questions for me?
Yeah, sure. I think I know the answer to this question, but maybe for those in the audience who don't know, can you tell the audience what the justice of the peace is? What is the power
So
of someone with the justice of the peace? And tell us about the position.
I'm grateful to answer that question. Uh, the Justice Peace handles what I consider to be community oriented matters. So we deal with truancy, we deal with mental health, we deal with tow hearings, we deal with things such as if you get your license revoked, you can come in. The layman's term is get a hardship license, which allows you to go and do essential duties, but it doesn't let you just go to mama's house and get apple pie and all that kind of stuff. So it allows you to do that. And then, of course, we have lawsuits that we can handle up to $25,000. So it gives a place for citizens to come to have their disputes heard, their civil matters taken care of. Because 90% of the people who are going to come, 95% of the people who come in my courtroom, they are going to be law abiding citizens. And so that's what they do. Now, one of the things I was asked by a young person, and it was a good question. He says, why in the hell should we, and this is just how he answered, he said, why in the hell should we even care about justice of the peace? I gave him an answer. So if you want to hear the answer I gave him, come to the town hall.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yes, and remind. Actually, I don't know the answer to this one because I haven't done all my homework quite yet. And sorry, I have barking dogs in the background. But
Right.
tell us about. Is there an incumbent right now? Are you going to be running against someone? Tell us about the current
So
position.
in the primary, I don't have a challenger. In the general, it's Christopher Gregory. Uh, he and I have talked to one another. We're civil with each other. We have very opposing views on how things should be done, and that's the truth of the matter. But at the end of the day, the way I look at this thing is two football teams on the field. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But when we walk off that field all being a part of the same organization. In this particular case, we're all Texans. In this particular case, we're all Tarrant County. And so I'm not going to vilify him. And I told him, don't vilify me. But we do have some very opposing views on things.
So, out of curiosity, you say you have opposing views. Like, would you say are the top three opposing views that you two have?
So one of the things that I got hit with was you're trying to be popular. Here's what's comical to me about this: the most popular person is the one to get the vote. I mean, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? So I'm not trying to just be popular and put out erroneous, unbiased, or you know, foolish principles. But the fact of the matter, let's look at some things here. I don't know if this was true. I'm only quoting a Star Telegram article. There was a Star Telegram article that talked about how there was a 82-year-old man who died from pit bull killing them. It landed in Christopher Gregory's courtroom. According to the article, it is there. You can see it. So I'm not quoting anything outside that article. The article said that he said, "There's nothing I can do." Okay. I bring question to that. Yes, we are not a criminal court, but there are sanctions we can do. Now, I haven't followed the case, so I'm just spitting facts. Some of the other things that we do, I have a real opinion about creating night court. Why? Because that court needs to be accessible to everyone.
Mhm.
My opponent doesn't have the same conviction. That's fine, because right now he's the judge. But that's not my conviction. My conviction is that it has to be accessible to everyone, and in such, I need to put effort in making it that way. And then thirdly, we talk about, I looked at his background, I looked at mine, and there was something that came out that said experience matters. I agree 100% with that. Here's the difference, though. I have over 30 years' experience in the courtroom. My opponent was a Lake Worth police officer, and through some situations that happened within their party, he was offered the opportunity to become the judge. Not saying he's not doing his job, but he was given the opportunity to become the judge, and that's it. I have a bachelor's degree in law. I was accepted at Thurgood Law School, but chose not to go. I have a master's in education administration. I sit on numerous boards. So if we did resumes, and that's what this is, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are watching, compare the resume then. I stand firm in my resume. So those are top three.
That's interesting.
Um,
So, tell us. I'm curious now about. You said that you've been in the courtroom for quite some time. Tell us a little
Mhm.
bit more about that. I'm curious about your past experiences in the courts.
So I was a juvenile probation officer. Well, let's start even further back than that. So when I was coming up through school, I had the opportunity to argue criminal cases in front of some of the prominent lawyers who, in that time stated one being Richard Racehorse Haynes. You had to look up his name. He's out of Houston. There are some others. So I had the opportunity to argue mock trial cases in front of them. Each of them had through training, of course, giving me kudos on how well I presented myself before the courtroom. It wasn't the Perry Mason style, and so as a result, I had the opportunity to go to Austin and actually go through that process of mock trials and stuff through some foolishness as a young person because they wanted me to be more like a director over it and advising everyone, that would come to Austin. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that. I want to argue the case on the floor. I don't want to be trying to tell people and articulate them. And I don't want to do all that. And so I chose not to go. Very dumb decision, but it was young. So from there, I went into law enforcement criminal justice over at Carter Riverside. That's where I started getting my training. I left there and went to Prairie View and A&M University. And tell me if I'm going too long with this answer, but Prairie View University A&M. And that's where I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to go into the military, became military police. When I came out, I became a juvenile probation officer, and I was presenting cases before the juvenile court. Did that for over 12 years. Been at the actually with Arlington ISD as a truancy officer. Uh, my efforts of bringing the courts to the school was captured by Star Telegram. It's called Sam Houston and Truancy. Got the entire Terry County area. We were the only ones that did that, and here's why it was so important: because it increased the teacher student parent ratio, meaning we were on that campus. So when parents came, teachers came, or students came, they had the opportunity to speak to administrators, and as a result of that, it helped us get our attendance rate up, and because we got our attendance rate up, our graduation rate went up. Well, as a result of that, I was celebrated by Republican and Democratic commissioners. At the time, Commissioner Wynn was the precinct 7 commissioner at the time when we had that endeavor, and Star Telegram picked it up and gave us high praise for doing that. So when I say I have years of experience of both counseling with persons and presenting cases in court, that's not in theory. That is actual what I have.
Oh, it's quite the career. Let me ask you this. I feel like this is probably a newbie question, but you said Perry Mason. For some reason, it's knocking around on my brain because I remember, I think
Okay,
in the Alex Jones
It's a
trial.
character.
I'm telling my age. Perry Mason was a TV lawyer who, as he would drill, or for lack of better words, as he would question the witnesses, all of a sudden they would break down and confess to the crime. That's not how actual court goes. If you really want to be honest about it, court can be extremely boring because there's not the fanfare like that. But again, it's a matter where persons can get their cases heard. And the reason why I feel like I'm the best, because let's just be honest. When you start dealing with evictions, and I failed to name evictions as it relates to justice of the peace, uh, I'm not saying that you have to go through this to best understand it, but I understand it because I went through it. Uh, I went through almost losing my home the first time through an eviction, and had agencies out there that helped me get on my feet and not lose my home. And so I understand the gravity of being able to sit in that courtroom, have to make a judgment about somebody moving out of somewhere where they think, okay, now where I'm gonna go live. I understand as a landlord, because I was a landlord at one time, what it's like to get somebody in there who promised you the moon but give you mud, and you got to get them out of there because they're tearing up your property. I get that. I understand what it's like when I'm sitting in front of a parent, and this young man or young lady have been in school for 4 years. They're 18 years old and they only have 2 credits. And to be honest with you, they probably would best be served by getting a GED. I get that, but I understand the psychological warfare that goes into the minds of those persons because I've sat there face to face and talked to them. I understand what it's like when you start talking about mental health. I got a mother who suffers from Alzheimer's. I get it. I get it when senior citizens are trying to hold on to their independence, but because of mental health, they're losing grasp on reality, and they need somebody to come in and take over those affairs. I get that. That's something that we have to do. So when I say to you that I have this experience, I'm not telling you somebody from a novice standpoint. I know really what it looks like. And you need that person who will be empathetic. Now, listen to me. No one gets special treatment. Everybody gets the same treatment. And that's what we got to have. We have to have people who have the confidence that if I go into this courtroom, be it Republican, Democrat, white, black, brown, whatever, that Mr. Lee, Judge Lee, hopefully, will give me fair treatment. That's the confidence I'm trying to bring. We have 51%. I think last census I looked at was 51% somewhere in there of laborers. When they have to come to court, they lose income. That's why I want to do what I'm talking about. These are not just theories. I've been looking at this stuff for a while. And guys, I'm not trying to come and say, "Hey, I got all the answers." That's the reason for the town hall. Because you
So
may
let
have
me ask you this
I think
question.
go ahead.
What are your views on the bail release recognition that's going on right now? Because I'm quite sure they passed a law about the bail cash or cash bail. What is your views on that?
So I'm not fully because that's one of the things I've been researching on. But here's my deal on that, guys. It's really, quite honestly, if I understand it correctly, and again, I'm still researching on that. Um, it needs to be fair for all.
Mhm.
It really needs to be fair for all. Because here's the problem: the persons that is hitting the most are our low income.
Mhm.
Think about it. Because if you got this gentleman who comes from a prominent family, that's a different playing field. They immediately get released right then. Think about it. If you hear the stories of those who go to jail and mom has to put up her house, or somebody has to get a surety bond through all kinds of different ways, who are the people that's doing this? Low income people. And don't get it twisted. We have some low income people, and I don't mean poor to the point of they're on the street. I'm saying to the point that they've got to decide: do I do this or do I put food on this table? Now, when you come to my courtroom, guys, unfortunately, I have to be a trier of the facts. But here's where the twist is: just because I try the facts does not mean that I can't provide or solicit agencies who can come help. Remember, I'm not a social worker. I'm not in education, but there's absolutely nothing that says I can't partner with an organization that's out there. That's not being done right now. Why is it not being done? I don't know. That's a good question to ask my opponent. Why is it not being done? That's a good question to ask the other side. Why isn't it being done?
I have another question for you because you brought up something that I hadn't heard since they had the show about night court.
Hmm.
So why do we not have night court in the DFW, especially with it growing so much out here? Why do we
Quite
not have?
honestly, quite honestly, it's inconvenient. Let's just be honest about it. It's inconvenient. Now, I don't mean that we do it like 7 o'clock at night and stuff. I mean, I don't know. We'd have to, we'd have to research because I don't want to do something on knee jerk. I don't want knee jerk reactions. But
Mhm.
we'd have to research and see. I believe that there's a demand for it because the persons I'm speaking with. But that's why I need the town hall because I want to hear. I don't want to create policies and structures, and then you say, "Well, this is not really serving me." Well, that's a waste of time. So I don't want to do that. But the reason why we're not having it, the simplistic answer is, it's inconvenient. Half of the listen on the other side. Now I tell you, we deal with civil matters, but I saw a report that says the reason why we have such a severe backlog is because of the manner in which we hear the cases.
Mhm.
There are courtrooms. I don't want to name. There are courtrooms right now that are 6, 9 months behind. You know why they're 6 and 9 months behind? Because the judges have taken vacation
Mm.
and they put it because you control your docket. And they chose not to hear them. They get to them when they feel like it. I mean, that's the
I'm-
simplistic method of it. And so because we're dealing with 30-second sound bites, they come in, tell the lie. Oh no, that's not. I'm a server of the people. Really? I always say, look at a person's resume. That'll tell you what they're really about. So that's the reason why we don't have it because it's inconvenient. But they get paid
So
all
how
this
would
money.
you fix the backlog?
So one of the ways, again, is I would for let's start with the education piece because we hear insurance. I want to
Okay.
speak to those superintendents and say, hey guys, what is it that you really need? I want to talk to those parents. What is it you really need? I want to talk to those students and say, hey, uh, another town hall. And I know it sounds crazy. Why don't y'all come to school? What is it about this education piece that just doesn't sit well with you all? And from there, I want to put together a committee so that we have honest communication from all. all stakeholders, and then we make a decision based on that. So it just won't be Judge Lee's, and I say Judge Lee, I'm not judge yet, but Judge Lee's decision. No, this would be our decision. Because if any of you follow me, I always end with hashtag let's do this together. Well, that's exactly what I mean. So when this decision is made, it's a panel decision. Now, please understand, as I've said and I continue to say, if you come in my courtroom, you are not getting preferential treatment. You prove your case, you win your case. But I want it to be fair to all that if you present the exact same facts, you get the exact same judgment. But it's about convenience.
Okay.
Mhm.
What role should technology play in your courtroom?
Oh, big time. Come on, big time. Uh, we're at an age now where literally you can do your filings electronically. You can do your plea through Zoom. I mean, come on. If anyone
Really?
can demonstrate that you are truly, truly, truly indigent and that you truly, truly can't. Now, I don't mean somebody who's lazy who says, well, they can get to the party, but they can't get to school, can't get to the courtroom, but they can go over to Dallas to see mama. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm speaking to the persons who realistically demonstrate to us there's a hardship if you are trying to get to court. Well, with technology, we should be able to service you. This thing is all about service. So we got to make the main thing the main thing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you though. I have no interest in making it convenient for people who, number one, uh, demonstrate irresponsibility. If you're irresponsible, I'm not trying to make it convenient for you. I'm talking about that person who's legitimately out there trying their best. That's who I'm speaking to. But guys, we can do that. We can do
Yeah,
it.
I absolutely agree. I think this is a good point to remind the audience too. I actually tend to forget this myself, but not everybody has a car.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people out there who just don't have the same transportation capabilities, and particularly up here in Denton County, Texas, we don't really have. Well, we kind of have DART a little bit, but and we kind of have some bus systems, but there's very little mass transit around here, and that can make things
Well,
difficult for people.
well, if you live in the Saginaw, White Settlement, River Oaks, Lake Worth, Azle area, you're on transportation. It's very difficult. And I hear you. I hear you. Well, they shouldn't have moved there. Okay. Well, I don't know what got them there, but since they are here, I have to service them. And so I have to again go back to the panel. Hey guys, this is my thought. Because I believe if you have a good idea and it's really a good idea, put it out there. Put it out there. Let's test the waters. Let's get people who are opposing views and let's see. If your ideal is that great, put it out there. Everybody has a great idea when you find somebody who thinks like you. That's the reason why I want to do this. It's all about service with me, guys. I served him. I tell everybody, and I say it proudly. I am the only candidate who has served his country. I did 22 years in the Navy. I'm the only candidate who has served his county. Guys, I retired as a juvenile probation officer, where if you look at the years that I was there, only 5 people went to Texas Challenge. I mean, went to TYC, which is Texas Youth Commission, which is jail for young people. Why? Because my whole goal was simply this. I want you to come on my probation load one way, but I want you to leave another way. Most of the people who left, most of them, they left becoming law abiding citizens. Now, you can't have 100%, and I don't believe in 100%, but I do believe that you can impact a great deal of people. That's what I do believe in. And so you're looking at somebody who is very impactful. I used to be a certified paralegal. So I understand the law, guys. I understand how to do all of that stuff. But again, it's about service. That's all I'm about. That's why I serve on boards within my community. That's why I'm on the Rotary Club. That's why I'm on the committee for planning the Training Grain Festival. And y'all do need to come out to that. I'm just a sorry plug for it. But anyway, y'all do need to come out there for that. I'm doing that stuff not just because I don't have anything else to do. I'm doing it because my community means the most to me. And as your next judge, trust me, I'm still going to be in the community. So that's where I'm at with that. That's my whole brain power. That's why I want you to come to the town hall. That's why I am not um, having an agenda, because I want you to bring the agenda. Ask me the question, and I'm going to bring other candidates with me. And what I shared with the other candidates, I said, guys, what we are not going to do, we're not going to spin this thing. You have to be able to answer these two questions: why you, and how does your being in that office better them? If you can't answer those two questions, you are not invited. And that's what I said to the candidates. And I mean that.
All
I have
right,
a
so
newbie
that's
question.
your 2 minute speech. That's your stump speech there.
I guess so.
Well, thank you, Rodney, for coming on. You can hang in there. We got Chris is coming up in a second, and we're gonna move on to our next hot topics. I thank you, and let us know when is your town hall meeting. You never know, if they let me drive again, maybe I can go to it.
So let me say this, and as I leave, look, guys, because you helped me with this town hall, meaning formulate this thing, doesn't necessarily mean you're endorsing me. I think we got a misunderstanding on that. I just need your help to put this together. If you're tired of this toxic way of doing stuff, help me put it together. And if I convince you to vote for me, that's a beautiful thing. But you're helping me with this is not an automatic endorsement of me. It's just saying you're tired like I am, and you want to put it together so that we can bring intelligent persons together who make intelligent decisions about who's going to be leading them in this county. That's what this is about. So if you're not scared, come on and get me. And my email is rodneylee for JOP@gmail.com. RODNEYLEEFORJOP@gmail.com. Come on, guys. I need you. White Settlement, I'm coming to you. I'm talking to you.
Woo, y'all fired up today, and I'm so glad that we're on tonight. Well, we're gonna move on to our next hot topics, and thank you again. I'm gonna almost call you Judge Lee, but candidate Rodney Lee,
Thank you for having me.
GP4.
Thank
Please
you for
come
having
back.
me. Have a good night.
You too. You too. All right, Mr. Dale, you ready for our hot topics? I mean, this has been a crazy day,
It's a lot
but
going
we're
on for sure. Yeah.
it definitely is. I definitely want to talk about this government shutdown because it's definitely going to affect a whole lot of people. And what is your thoughts on this? Because of course, the military is still going to get paid up to a certain point, and then they're not going to get paid. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, you're still going to get that, but it's all kind of other services that's going to be down. Like today, believe it or not, I tried to call the IRS and I was on hold for a whole 60 minutes just so I can get a EIE number. And that's just crazy how this government shutdown is affecting everyone.
Yeah, and this isn't our first rodeo. This keeps happening over and over and over again. It's quite frustrating. It's particularly more frustrating, especially when I need to repeat this over and over again because I watch Fox News sometimes. I don't know why, but Republicans are the ones in control right now. It
Yes.
seems that Fox News and a bunch of Republican politicians want to blame Democrats on this shutdown, which is insane. The Republicans are in control of the congressional House. Republicans are in control of the congressional Senate. Republicans have the presidency. Republicans have the trifecta. It is the fault of the Republicans that we're going through this shutdown. And you cannot blame this on the Democratic Party. It is mind blowing to me that Trump in the White House is trying to do so. That said, this is always exhausting because it feels like this keeps happening over and over and over again. It seems almost every cycle. Not always. I don't think it happened as much with Biden, but the sad thing about this is that when the government shuts down, it's a way of the government punishing people, right? Because I understand that some people don't feel it, and if it shuts down for a couple of days, the general populace doesn't feel anything. But the longer a shutdown progresses through, as you mentioned, Stephanie, different sectors start shutting down, right? So it's not as if the entire government shuts down immediately. Certain essential services get shut down over time, and this is really it's really damaging, and it's upsetting that Congress, typically what we've seen in the past, is always pushed to continuing resolution rather than just pushing a budget. But it's really really frustrating, especially as I say this as a federal contractor. Thankfully, my contracts that I have at work are still going smoothly, but for now, right? And I don't know how long that's going to last. So
Not
it's really
also
upsetting. People do need to understand that lots of businesses and depend on a functioning government. This will eventually affect the stock market. This will eventually affect trade. So this is not something that is something to look forward to, right? Because I've sometimes seen in the past some people saying like, "Oh, down with the government. What good is the government for?" I understand the cynicism, but understand that our economy and our businesses depend on the government. So this is not good, and this is not, again, I will repeat, not the fault of the Democrats. The Republicans are the ones in control.
I totally agree with you. Listen, I'm gonna give you this right here because you deserve it. It is so very true that the Republican Party is definitely y'all responsible for this. Matter of fact, y'all responsible for this whole mess that we're going through, and it's very cowardly of you not to show up yesterday to even talk to the Democratic Party. Y'all decided to leave and lock down the Capitol because y'all didn't want to take a vote and you didn't want to swear in the young lady from, I believe she's from Arizona. You on here, Chris? Okay, welcome, Chris. We got to put you on here. Where you at? I need to see your face.
Let me
There you go. Yeah, welcome back, Chris. He's on here, and of course, we got hot topics to talk about. But definitely, they shut down the Capitol yesterday before midnight, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's against the law. They can't do that, but they did. They went home
oh
again.
wow.
They refused to want to do their part, do their job. And it's funny how our House member and our senators haven't said, okay, well, since y'all didn't show up for your job, we need to handcuff you and lock you up in the Capitol like it was done here in Texas. You
Yeah,
know,
and yeah, that's a good point.
so it's just it's crazy how it's good for one and not good for the other. But eventually, I believe that they're gonna wind up coming to an agreement. People start calling your representatives, start calling your senators. Even if they're red, you have to call these people and tell them they need to negotiate because what what's going on is if it's about our health care and those people, those 13 million people that's on Medicaid and on the affordable health care, which they keep calling Obamacare, those that's on there, they're getting ready to lose those services. Can you imagine you haven't have surgery and you're right there getting ready to have surgery a week out, and then you getting told that, sorry, ma'am, sir, you can't have surgery because your insurance won't cover it. How devastating is that? The people that are going in for cancer treatment and they need that medicine to help them just get through to their next dosage. How do you think they're going to feel not being able to have the medicine that can help prevent them or even save their life with cancer? This is the reason why it's so very important that we get people registered to go vote, and y'all have till October the 6th to register to vote. And then you need to go and call the registration office just to make sure that your card has been accepted. Because here in Texas, once again, Texas, they have a new system, and guess what? It's not working. So even if you did do the right thing and fill out the information, it's a big possibility that you will not have your registration card in time for you to vote for the November election. So we do have things on the table for November, but your registration card might not be legit.
Yeah, yeah. Or you might be purged.
Again,
Yep. I was going to say that there's a lot of efforts by the Republican Party to try to purge people, claiming that a lot of people were either dead or moved away or whatever. So it's really unfortunate. There is a place online where you can look up and confirm where your registered voting location is. And then that's a way of also confirming whether or not you're registered to vote still. And I always try to make sure every other month I go in there just to make sure, right? Because you have to when you live in Texas these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, they might say we part of Mexico, New Mexico, or something. You just never know about these guys. But definitely make sure that you check your registration. It's so very important. Over 1 million people were purged last year, so let's make sure that doesn't happen this year. So we're ready for 2026. Now we're gonna move on to the next drama because you know it's always some kind of drama. Okay, I am so tired of this administration always doing everything except for what they're supposed to be doing. Do y'all know anything that they have done these past 9 months to take care of us? Well, I'm going to tell you what they have done now. They're bringing in the troops to Memphis. Now, I ain't going to sit here and feel like Memphis is the perfect place to be at and it doesn't have issues because it does, just like any other city, but they do have some issues that need to be tightened up there. Why would the president order for the National Guards to head to Memphis and they have a whole police department? So, what are you saying? Memphis police officers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Or they're part of the problem? Or they're taking bribes? What's going on? Why does the president seem to think that it's okay to bring in the National Guards to Memphis? And not only Memphis, be on the lookout, Shreveport, be on the lookout, New Orleans. Be on the lookout, Dallas. He said he's going to go and do every other city. So remember, those cities that they're trying to hit is basically Democratic areas. So what do y'all think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We've seen this escalation for a bit now, right? Their first target was Washington D.C., and the reason for that is because legally speaking, it's easier to try to do this in Washington D.C. because it's a unique situation where D.C. is considered to necessarily be a state. It's part of the country, but not a state on its own. So it legally speaking, it's weak in resistance into these kind of actions in terms of using federal agents to parade the streets. But they started with Washington D.C., and now they're trying to see if they can do the same thing in other cities, right? Because if they can start doing that, then they can send these individuals anywhere, right? And again, you got to understand a lot of these people. These are people wearing masks. These are people who don't necessarily always have a badge, right? There's no way to identify who these individuals are. And I understand that, like in certain situations, anonymity of certain agents does need to be maintained. But what we're seeing right here, right now, feels like a secret police type of thing. And
Yeah.
what's really dangerous to me is how we've already gotten this far to the point where Trump is sending these masked federal agents into cities. And guys, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at the calendar. It hasn't even been a year yet. We haven't even had 1 year of Trump in this term, and we're already here. So I fear where we will be 1 year from now, right before the next election, right? So that's, I mean, not
Exhausted?
to sound, not to, yeah, and not to sound too like pessimistic or anything, but it's something that we definitely need to fight in the courts, because I know that he's planning to try to send these individuals to the cities like in California and whatnot, and I think that California is attempting to resist. I think I saw that there was a law. I don't know if it's passed yet or not, but California is trying to mandate that agents cannot wear masks to hide their
Yes.
identity.
Yeah.
But we'll see where that goes. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Did that law pass, Chris? Maybe you can tell me if you know whether or not that law passed or what's going
Yeah.
on.
That I'm not sure about, but I do know it was proposed.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a pretty scary time. It's a type of thing where he's obviously he's testing to see how much power he has, It feels like the president is doing all sorts of illegal things, but I don't really know what else to say beyond that, other than we really need our courts to fight back.
We definitely do. We definitely do. And I just want to say this to the people that are listening to us. I know this is trying times right about now. And it's like we're being pulled from one side to another. Don't give up. Have faith, because what I'm going into next is what will give you a little hope. So on yesterday, what is he? The war guy? I don't know what Pete Hegseth has changed the name of Defense Secretary. You know, the drunk guy that was on Fox News is now the War Defense. Well, he called every last one of the generals and the admirals in to chastise them. And when I tell you that was one of the most embarrassing things for our country, is for him to belittle them and have the nerve enough to call them fat and have the nerve enough to basically tell them, if you don't get on board what Trump says, you're out of here. Go ahead and resign. First of all, you're gonna need that. I'm just a military wife, right? And I watch things and I listen to things even before I got married to my military guy. I understand a lot of things that they have to go through. But one thing that I don't like is the disrespect that this major did to these generals that were generals probably before he knew how to wipe his own ass. I did not like the disrespect that he did to them. Some things you could have did on a Zoom. Some things you could have did a phone call. That was unnecessary for you to waste the taxpayers' dollars on you to belittle those generals and admirals. He wants to downsize the military. You want to start the standard that's already a standard there. I guess he just didn't pay attention, or maybe he knew somebody in, what was he in? The Navy, maybe, that helped him get across to where he's at now. But let me tell you something. Those women that are in combat, you best dang on believe they are ready for whatever. They exercise the same as a man. So how can you sit up there and say that you want to change the standards? The standards been changed. They're doing the same thing as a man in combat, because guess what? They're ready. And don't think they're not ready to take you out of office. Everybody's sitting up here saying the same thing. We need to clean house. And by golly, the only way that we're going to be able to clean house and get rid of this administration, because it's bad on both sides. I don't care if you red or blue, green, whatever. It's bad for the country. They're bad for the country, and they need to be gone. So the best
Yep.
way that you can do that, y'all need to register to vote and take your butt out there and go vote. Vote this November, and come 2026, donate. Help these candidates that's out here, this block walk. Go block walk, call for them. And then when that's all done, come November 3rd, go out and go vote in massive group. Go vote, because that's the only way that we can stop this craziness that's going on, so we can get our America back. Because right now, I'm worried. I'm worried of
Good.
the direction that we're going. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to just add to what you just said. I agree with everything, and then the disrespect to all the generals was inexcusable. I mean, that was just a damn shame. Also, he couldn't pass some of the physicals when he was in. I guess he was like a National Guard or something, and then he somehow made to a major, and he can't even do a pull up. They had a video of him I saw probably about a month or two ago. He couldn't even do 10 pull ups, but he was walking around here trying to be all macho and I'm alpha male, this and that. He's a punk. I mean, the dude's a little punk. And when they all sat silent and said, didn't even respond to him, I thought that made him feel so uncomfortable. I mean, I thought that was just epic. I'm like, good. That's what you get. That's what you
It's like a
get.
2-year-old trying to tell you what to do. A 2-year-old telling you how to drive, and you've been driving forever, and you
Yeah.
just you just learned how to pull up your pull-ups. Come on now, make that
Yeah,
make sense.
And
the
they
guy has the
did.
mentality of a 2-year-old. Yeah,
Yeah, and they did Trump the same way. Just did sat there stone faced, looked at him like he was just crazy as he is. And I thought that was, I'm like, good. Now, what I was worried about was now if they had all stand up and started cheering, oh man, I'd be like, look, now we got a problem. We got a real. We already have a problem now, but now we really have a problem.
I think
yeah,
those are our real military people. They're the head of the military, the generals and the admirals. You know, I really think that they're going to keep up with their oath.
Yeah.
You know,
And Stephanie, let me add to this too. So, and Trump said he wants them to use American cities as training ground for the military.
he did.
Okay, so in reality, the police departments in the country have been kind of militarized since 1968. So that's
Mhm.
already kind of happening. But to exacerbate that, that's just that's just stupid.
You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to basically disband the police department and have those folks that maybe had bad records come into the ICE agent.
Yeah,
So that's why they're showing this little dangly little looking diamond at them and have them to go, well, you know what, if you can't feed your family off of 79,000 a year or however much they get paid, come on over here. We'll take care of you. But at the end of the day, who are you affecting?
right. Yeah. Hey, did y'all
We
see that? Yeah, I'm sorry, me and Richard said. I was
no,
gonna.
I was going to say we won't even be able to call ICE to come if somebody trying to break into your home. Who we gonna call?
Right.
I like my police department. You know, I
Yep.
want them to stay where they're at, give them permission to do what they're supposed to do legally and not harass people, you know. Do the right thing. If you do the right thing, we wouldn't have to have the National Guards to be doing your job. Just do the right thing. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say, as far as ICE is concerned, did y'all see that video of that ICE agent slamming that woman to the ground?
Yes.
That was
yeah,
atrocious.
yeah. That's
And
absolutely terrible.
That's been going on a lot lately. I think last week or before he was, yeah, last week, where he basically one of the ICE agents literally they threw one down and slung the other one like she was a rag doll, and I'm sitting up here like, why are you doing this? And then the other day they pushed a reporter that was just all he was doing was just trying to take a photo of, and they slung him so hard to where he wound up leaving in the ambulance. When is this going to stop? And
yeah,
people, we got to wake up. No, you know what? We're already awakened. We just need to start standing up and doing the right thing and telling our people who represent us to do the right thing. Stand up. We're behind you 100%. You see what happened in Texas. We were behind them, and we're still going to be behind our congressmen and our senators. But you got to do the right thing about the people, because I'm telling you, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me too. There was a headline I saw. I think the headline went something along the lines of fifth person, the fifth sober person arrested for a DUI by ICE. It's that one sounds a little bit silly, but it does kind of go to show that ICE is very desperate to do arrests, and I think that they had some quotas applied to them, and that will make any officer do some pretty shady things. Let's say, for example, if an officer has to make 10 arrests in a week, but he can only find 5 legitimate people to arrest, well, he's going to, on the last day of the week, he's going to arrest 5 innocent individuals because he needs to make his quota, right? So that's the type of thing that's really shady. And I think this is actually a good point to not necessarily transition, but go to a very similar topic about local police officers assisting with ICE. And in Denton County, that's is happening right now. There's a program called 287G, and the county commissioners last February unanimously voted in favor of 287G. And what that does is it basically says, all right, we're going to have a local ICE team for here in Denton County. First, I want to express how ludicrous this is because Denton County is North Texas. Guys, we are far away from the border. We're so far north in Texas that if our neighbor Cook County didn't exist, we would be bordering Oklahoma, right? It's nonsensical to say that we need to have a local ICE group of people who are confined to just within the county limits. Additionally, the other reason this 287G contract is a problem is because we've seen ICE shoving people around. We've seen ICE do inappropriate things and get physical and tough with people. If, God forbid, they make a mistake and they really hurt someone, with this 287G program, with these local ICE individuals, if they do something wrong to the point where someone can sue, they don't sue the entity of ICE, they sue the county. And that means we, the Denton County taxpayers, pay for that. We pay through it by our increased property taxes. So the 287G program is something we definitely need our county commissioners to say no to. And we know they voted in favor for it. So we need candidates to run for county commissioner to be against the 287G program and against this local ICE operations. So that's something I just want to put out there because it really makes me cringe. I think it was last February. Yeah, it was last February. The Denton County Commissioners voted in favor of the 287G program to have local ICE affiliations.
Hmm. And it says that the city of Denton County, because we brought that up a couple of shows ago about the mayor having a secret meeting with the ICE agents. Well, they haven't allegedly agreed to go ahead and do this in the city, but it is on the table.
Oh yeah, are you talked about the mayor of the city of Denton?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, now that you finally announced, I think that's actually going to be your opponent. I think you have two opponents. There's going to be a Republican primary, I think, for precinct 4. The current incumbent, I'm forgetting her name, the white lady, and the Denton County, I'm sorry, the Denton City Mayor apparently are going up for a Republican primary for precinct 4. It looks like.
Is this for a commissioner?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
yeah. So from what I understand, I think that the I'm forgetting the name of the guy, but the current mayor of the city of Denton, he's hitting his term limits because I always
Mhm.
like it when there are term limits, but it feels like there's very few offices that do. But apparently, the mayor does have a term limit in at least in the city of Denton. I think it's only three sessions,
Yes.
and so now he has to continue to hold office. So it looks like he'll be going towards this. It'll be interesting to see what his because typically what I've seen in the past is that when you see Republicans versus other Republicans in a Republican primary, they try to one up each other. They want to see who can go farther to the right than others, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So it will be interesting to see what his stance is on voting centers or countywide voting. It will be interesting to see what his stance is on 287G because I know the current incumbent of Precinct 4. I keep forgetting her name. It's on the tip of
Diane
my
ain't
tongue.
listening. Yeah, Diane.
Yeah, Diane. I know that she has not voted in favor of countywide voting or vote centers, but she also
Mhm.
doesn't talk about it very much. And from what I've seen, and she did vote in favor of 287G. So I'm kind of wondering how can this mayor of the city of Denton go any farther to the right than Diane? It'll be interesting to see how that gets. A lot of these Republican primaries can get pretty messy, but we'll see how the cards unfold.
Well, I can definitely tell you here in Denton County is going to be probably a little messy on their end because they're eating each other up left and right. But we still need a lot of people to go out and decide if they're going to run for office, because I'm quite sure we still have a lot of vacancies. We gotta we if you want to change in Texas, and especially in the Denton County and Tarrant County area, you got to go out and decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna run for office. Go ahead and just do it. You just never know. You might win. You might be that person that reaches the people, and the people can relate to you, and they'll vote for you. But you can't do it if you sit at home and complain about it. Because right now, we're at the line. Everybody's using football things, so I'm going to use football today. Right now, we're like the Dallas Cowboys. I hate to say it. Y'all don't get mad at me, but we
Hey,
kind of like the Cowboys.
Cowboys. They showed out Sunday night. I mean,
It, it's still not a win. 40-40. Come on now. But you know what? I'm not gonna get blessed. They might not vote for me. But listen,
hey,
listen.
Gotta
people
watch
lost a
out.
lot of money. People lost a lot of money betting against
We're gonna
against the
go into
Cowboys.
their sports mentality afterwards, because I'm telling you, it's something else when they lose, and they when people lose money on the Cowboys. But what I want to say is, like the Cowboys, I think the Democrat Party is almost like the Cowboys in a sense. We're almost there. But you got one person that does one bad move or drops that ball, and we all the way back. But you know what? One thing that you can say about the Cowboys, and I am going to actually say something nice about them, never count them down. Just
Yeah,
when you think that they're not going to do the right thing, they can sneak up on you and hit 12 points on you real quick. So don't
Very
count those
true.
Cowboys down. Even though Jerry Jones be saying some silly stuff and doing some silly things that irritate all of us, the Cowboys will always be Americans' team. And in that statement, we got to fight back, and we got to fight harder than what the Cowboys are doing, and make sure we're not trading people that's actually should be on our team. Let's do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree.
See, I can say something nice about the Cowboys. Well, I'm gonna do this one last thing, because I had got this high tea before we had came on earlier, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So over in Fort Worth, since we were talking about Tarrant County, so the mayor, what is her name, Miss Parker, she decided to tell Patrice Jones that her thoughts on public comments. Then the mayor Parker replied, I still have your casket, referring to a casket that Patrice had left at the mayor's lawn last year. So I guess Maddie Parker wants Patricia to come get her casket.
What?
I can't make this stuff up. So I
This is
believe
crazy.
somebody, this is allegedly, Patrice Jones had taken an empty casket, y'all, over to the mayor's house and left it. And the mayor told her, "Hey, I still have your casket at the meeting they had last night." So I can't make this stuff up. It's getting ridiculous. You know, Republicans, sometimes y'all did have a little respect from the people. Y'all completely have lost all respect that y'all have possibly could have had. Like they were saying earlier, this is no longer the Reagan GOP. I don't know what to call y'all. A hot mess. That's what I'm gonna call y'all. Y'all are a hot mess. And be careful what you say, because what you say could come back and bite you or put you back in a casket. I'm just saying. It is Halloween month.
That is true, but God, no, that's total, total. That's oh my God, I can't believe that. That's crazy.
I know I can't make this stuff up, Chris. I can't. It comes to me, and I put it out there like, wow, you're at a public meeting and that's what you discuss. I can't make this up.
politics can get really petty sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. And as petty as everything is, oh, we done had a long day. Dell, we had a long day with technical issues and everything. Mama, let you go ahead and do your 2 minute stump. And Chris, you want to jump in there and do your Welcome back. About time you showed up on here. I know you've been busy celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Y'all just got new birthdays and anniversaries going on. Like, good Lord. Well, I'm glad to see you back.
All right. You want me to go first?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
In the
ahead.
final 2 minutes. Um, okay, and I can talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, just like Steph said, we just have to remain hopeful. A lot of crazy things going on. I think one of the things that we should look out for is um, they have decided that HUD will not enforce housing discrimination claims. That's a big deal. Because the FHA is the Fair Housing Act of 1968. That's one of the pillars of multiracial democracy. That basically says that no one can deny you housing, whether it's for sale or rental, just because of your race or because of your religion. And the current head of the FHA is not enforcing any or investigating any discrimination claims. So I think that's a big deal this week, and that really affects everybody, no matter what your race or color is. The door's open for anybody to decide they could discriminate against you from a housing standpoint just because they feel like it. So um, that's one big thing to watch going forward. But yeah. So I'm willing to stay hopeful, and I hope everybody else does as well too, and just take it one day at a time.
Thank you so much for that. You know, that's one thing that we definitely going to have to do some research on is about HUD. It's so many different programs that's going to be affected, but thank you, Chris, for bringing that to our attention. We definitely going to have to talk about that. Mr. Dale.
Oh, sure. I'm going to plug the things I usually plug. I'm going to talk about Progressive Toastmasters. Progressive Toastmasters is a group that meets every single Monday at 7 p.m. It's both in person and online over Zoom, so go ahead and check us out. It's like a regular Toastmasters club, but you can feel comfortable and safe talking about politics. It's called Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. So if you want to learn more information about it, go to Facebook and look for the group Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Type in the word Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. We meet every single Monday, 7 p.m., in person and online. It's a good place to meet like minded individuals. And if you would like, even work on your public speaking, or you could also just listen to local public leaders talk about politics in a safe space. Again, that's Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Also, there's the Frisco Democratic Club. We have a breakfast club coming up. We have the breakfast club every second Monday of the month. And so if you want to learn more about that, come to friscodemocrats.org. We also have a happy hour. Our happy hours, by the way, are going to be kind of shifting around a bit from their usual days within the month because we have the holidays coming up. So if you come to friscodemocrats.org, you can get linked from there on our front page to our mobilize page, which has the dates of all of our events for that. So Frisco Democrats, it's a nice place to also meet like-minded individuals as well, and like-minded Democrats. Aside from that, I will also talk briefly about how, as mentioned earlier, we definitely need people to run for office. We have, I think, right now, two, maybe three state house districts within Denton County that we don't have Democrats for, including District 106, which is Eastside Denton County, Texas. I talked a little bit about that last time, but essentially, we have the most conservative number one Republican, Jared Patterson, here representing us in District 106. And when I say he's the most conservative, I mean that the Texas Tribune looked at his voting record and ranked all the state house members from left to right on a scale. And they determined, based upon the voting record, Jared Patterson, our state house representative, is the number one most conservative. But he's going to face a Republican primary if he's not barred from running for office, which it looks like the party's trying to do for some reason. I don't have enough time to go into that. But if he does not get barred from running for office, he will have a primary, and it looks like the Republican primary, is going to contain a January 6th rioter, also known as the zip tie guy. So things are getting pretty bad over here, and unfortunately, right now, we don't have anyone who is announced to run for District 106 on the Democratic side of the aisle. So we really need someone to step up. There's many other positions as well that we need to fill with the Democrat as well. I don't think anyone's stepped up for district clerk or county treasurer or the county clerk as well. But there's a lot of positions that we definitely need Democrats running for. And by the way, just FYI, if you do run for the county clerk or the district clerk or the treasurer, those are paid positions. By the way, I believe they make a 6-digit salary. So definitely, we need someone to step up for those positions because we don't have Democrats right now yet who've announced for those positions. Aside from that, I'm going to be updating my website real soon because Stephanie and I are both running for Denton County Commissioner. Stephanie is running for Precinct 4, and I'm running for Precinct 2. So definitely look forward to that. The main points of contention with the Denton County Commissioners Court is, as I mentioned earlier, the local ICE cooperation and also countywide voting on Election Day, which we do not have. We have countywide voting in the early voting period, but not on Election Day, the last day to vote. And this confuses a lot of people. It gets a lot of people redirected. And we perceive that to be straight up voter interference. And it's something that we need to fight against. So with that said, thank you both for being here, and thank you for your time. And Stephanie, I'll hand it back to you.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really don't have much to say, y'all, but I just want to say thank you, Dell, for popping in here. I know we're coming on here some weird times today, but I appreciate you so very much. And Chris, thank you for coming on here. And I want to say this one thing, well, probably two things. I can't tell y'all enough how important it is for us to get our young people involved and have them to get out to go register to vote if they have not been registered to vote. Please check your status. And also, come November, please go vote. Those amendments that they put in there
Yes.
is for a reason. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. Hopefully, next week we can go and put up there what the amendments are and give you the option to know what to do when you get ready to go. You know, but please make sure you don't say I don't have time for this. You got to make time for this because this affects your pocket. This affects your kids. This
Yep.
affects everything. So please make sure that every time that there is an election that you guys go out to go vote because your votes does matter. Because you see what happened. We lost 9 million people didn't vote last year, and this is what we got. So I'm
Yep.
not going to judge anybody. We need you. We need you to come out and go vote. Now, yes, Dale has already announced for me. He's been pushing it. Yes, I am going to be running for county commissioner for Denton County. I have not really started too much of anything, but I will be doing a more formal kickoff soon. And I really appreciate you. Like Dale was saying, out here in Denton County, we have to make a difference. This county is growing so rapidly fast to where people are different. They're not the same as what we have representing us at the county commissioner. We're growing. We need to have new ideals and we need to expand. We need to do the right thing by the people. And the right thing about the people is to make sure that we have countywide voting centers on
Yes.
election days everywhere because it matters. I'm not going to go into my stump speech right now, but I'm going to tell you, of course, I have lots to say because at the end of the day, I look at this county and I see what could be. And it's time for us to move to
Absolutely.
the future. And it's time to make sure that we take care of our first responders here in this county. And that's what I'm gonna leave it on. We got to take care of our first responders because, believe it or not, those are some very busy people and they do a lot for us.
Yes.
Some of the stuff that they see and have to do, I would not want to do that for anything because, first of all, I
Nope.
don't like the sight of blood. So I commend them for the things that they have to do and the calls that they have to go out to in the middle of the night to make sure that somebody is safe. So we have to make sure that they have what they need. So it's so very important that you get out to go vote and make sure you have sheriffs and people out there that's going to actually do right by the people, because that's what counts. We got to come together. But of course, next week we're going to have Amy Salas on here, and she's running for senator for, I believe, 9. Is she running for 9? Amy's gonna kill me, but she's running for state senate for Texas,
All
and we're gonna
right.
also, yes, and we're also gonna have another young lady that's gonna be running for HD96, Denise. So please join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. and make sure that if you're on YouTube that y'all subscribe, because the more y'all subscribe to this channel, the more we can get out to more people. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach everyone. And if you're a candidate and you want to come on here, you have a good platform to come on here and say what you need to say so the people know who you are. Reach out to myself or to Dell and let us know. You can even reach out to Chris. You see Chris be popping in here every now and then. So
Once a
let,
month, I give you once a month. Now I'm kidding.
you know what? I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. Wait a minute. So this needs to count for September, not October. I'm gonna need you back on here.
All right, I'll come back next week.
Okay, I appreciate that. But thank y'all, everyone, and thank you for supporting Let's Talk About It, Steph. We'll see y'all back next week with Amy Salas as our new candidate for state senate. Y'all have a good night. Be safe, and y'all watch out for ice.
That's right.